You're listening to the 209 Podcast with V&T.
Welcome to the Revamped 209 Podcast with V&T. I'm Virginia Still.
And I'm Teresa Hammond.
And we're here at our second podcast.
Yeah, this is exciting. We are the voice of the 209 Podcast, and we get to bring this next magazine to everyone, a little taste of what's going on in the 209, huh?
Right, and the best.
It's the best of.
The best of the 209.
Yeah.
August, September issue, covering a lot of things.
Issue 52. So we've been doing this a minute now.
Yeah,
Which is cool. I mean, we haven't been doing the podcast a minute, but issue 52 on the magazine, we're going pretty strong. And it's an exciting issue. Lots of pages, lots to look at.
Lots of stuff to cover. Things that are right around, I mean, it's so hot, right? It's so hot this summer. We've been having upper 90s, and it's just, people want places to cool off. Guess what? That's in this issue.
Yep.
It's in this issue.
And I was flipping through it, and we don't normally talk a whole lot about this, but our ad reps did a great job. The ads look really clean in this issue, and really shows a lot about what we have within the 209 by the way of where you can get your shopping needs met, be it for your home or your insurance or you name it. We've got a great variety of advertising going on in this publication as well, which then ties into the list of all of our best ofs, which is another exciting thing. But yeah, it's really, really nice looking product. Really excited for everybody to look at it this week when it hits stands.
Plus, shout out to our creative design team, huh? I loved the layout. I loved all the pictures, especially, having that little bit of a photographer bug that I have, to have that just looking just nice.
Yeah.
Just really, really cool.
Agreed. I really, you mentioned all the water activities that are featured in this one. And I mean, it made me happy that it's coming out in August because it made me want to go. As a reader, because I read it myself, it was like, oh man, I need to get out there and get to these lakes and do these things like everybody else. Really, really good job.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of that, I wanted to share a random thing, but a little bit of a backstory of one of the articles that I wrote in this upcoming issue about, I'm going to butcher the name. I'm just going to tell you that right now because I'm not Italian, and it's named after this Italian man. It's the Foresteri Gardens, underground gardens in Fresno. And the story, Undercovered Surprise, is really what it was when I went because, I love doing the navigator pieces. They're so fun. I usually take my kids along, and we have a day of it as a family, and we get to see something new and do something new in the name of work. How can you complain about that? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know. I was just kind of struggling of a new place to go, and we sat around the office, and everybody started Googling different places, and this one came up, and I thought I was going to an underground garden. Now, I'm a gardener. Are you a gardener?
I do. I love plants. I love homegrown tomatoes, and
Right. So I thought I was going to go, see a garden, underground.
Yeah.
So, took the kids down and on a weekday to Fresno. Didn't know, I'm not a Fresno girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know how long that was going to take, but it wasn't so far. It wasn't so bad, but it's a very unassuming place. There's no big parking lot. There's no big to-do.
Right, okay.
And parked, went downstairs. Well, it turns out, girl, it wasn't an underground garden.
No?
It was an underground dwelling.
Oh,
I cannot wait to share this with our readers. It was, first of all, the drive wasn't bad. You park on the street. When you're above it, because it's an underground dwelling, it's kind of, I apologize to the people of the Foresteri Garden, but it's unimpressive. It's not, because everything's under the ground.
Right. So all the cool stuff is underground.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really hard not to talk about this and give away the whole story because it's really a cool story. But it was basically this Italian immigrant who came to the U.S. in 1901 and didn't like the winters in Boston, which is where he came through.
Understandable.
And started digging there to escape the winter. And then his brother was here in Fresno, so he came to Fresno in 1905 and didn't like the Fresno heat. So he dug again. Crazy, right?
Right,
But he wanted, this is the really funny part. I didn't include this in the story, so I want to be sure and share it. He didn't like the Fresno heat, and he wanted to have a citrus grove That's what he wanted to do, was have orange trees and all the things. You know, the things people think about when they think of California, right?
Right.
So he went down to Orange County. But guess what? Back in 1905, Orange County was too expensive. Is that not funny?
Oh, my gosh.
This is how many years ago?
Yeah.
117 years ago. Orange County was too expensive, so he came back to Fresno, and he bought 80 acres at $1 an acre.
Wow.
$80. But the bad news is it was hard pan soil, so he couldn't grow his orange grove.
Oh.
So he started digging
Okay.
in his off time.
Yeah.
And by 1926, I think it was, he had dug like close to 50 rooms underground. He had a vision for it to be a subterranean resort for people to escape the Fresno heat. 2 stories underground.
Wow. Okay.
Amazing.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Right?
How cool.
Little Italian man, so it was just 22 feet down,
Yeah.
which was fine for him. But it was just something I mean, my son took his phone out, was taking pictures. He never takes pictures. He's a terrible photographer. But he was like, Mom, I thought, you know, my son says to me, Mom, I thought this would at most just be a nice day with the family and a little lunch, because he was so unimpressed when we were up top.
Yeah.
He goes, but this place is amazing. Like, I want people to see it.
Grabbed his interest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he did manage to grow trees through, once he got down below
Okay.
the subterranean, the soil was better. So he grew trees through the skylights that he built.
Wow.
Really, really,
So
really cool.
Like, who knew? Fresno.
This is the
That's
thing.
Bizarre.
It was the whole time we were going through it, I was saying, this is like the Winchester Mystery House
Uh-huh.
underground in Fresno.
Oh, my gosh.
But just a really, really cool place. I really look forward to our readers checking it out. Our editor, when she was reading it, was texting me saying, love the photos, and I think I have to take a drive down there, because it's just a fascinating, and that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was my experience, and we had a great day, but this place, like, I would be sad if it went away, because
Yeah.
it was just so, to see what this man put into this with his own 2 hands. He worked during the day, and this is what he did in the after hours. Never married, did this for 40 years because he had this vision, and he just continued to do it. And it is so much more than a garden. So much more. Such a cool place.
What was the temp? Was it cooler?
Oh my goodness. So
Was it
that's
so
the funny
cool?
thing, that we had a reservation for 11. So they're 1-hour tours, and you make a reservation. And we had a reservation for 11 in July. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's Fresno. I'm with
Yeah,
this guy,
it's
right?
hot.
Oh, what am I
It's hot.
thinking?
Right.
But once we went down to the first level, then she spoke for like 15 minutes, and then she took us to the second level, and it's like a 10 to 15 degree drop just going downstairs.
Oh, my gosh. Do episode 3 over there?
I'm saying,
Huh?
I wanted to sleep in his little bed.
Oh, my gosh, right?
Very clever.
How
very,
cool.
very cool. So I encourage everyone who listens, if you've got a day to take a little drive with the family, go check this place out, because it's really something else. Really, really something else. So,
Underground.
and the whole time I was thinking of
So
this
crazy.
podcast.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking, this is my behind the scenes, because this is the place that everyone's going to read just like I did and think, oh, it's somebody put their succulents underground in a couple of plants. Big deal.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't. It was amazing. And and he also did that grafting with trees.
Okay.
So he had one tree that was 7 grafts of 7 different varietals of citrus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Very cool.
And
Very, very cool.
yeah, so there's so many right things all around, like driving distance. Like you said, the drive wasn't bad. I mean, like going to Sutter Creek.
Yeah.
Okay. Gold mining history. There's so many different really cool stories up in the hills, just different things that happen. So I happened upon Hotel Sutter Creek Restaurant.
Oh.
So it was so cool because they have open balcony where people can hang out and eat and just watch the main street. The main street's like popping. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I've never been.
There's a really cool vibe there. So it's Hotel Sutter, and you can get guest rooms there. And funny story is, it used to be a hotel way back in the day. And it's been burned down, rebuilt, burned down, but some parts have still stayed true, like some of the brick, some of the stone. And they have this. So the hotel, they used to have a bathroom on each floor for people to share. Can you imagine like going into a hotel and thinking, oh, I have to share this bathroom? Anyways, but now they remodeled it.
I guess they were just happy for indoor plumbing, maybe.
Probably,
I don't know,
right?
just guessing.
But they remodeled it, and now every room has a bathroom. But you could park there and walk right out to their main street. There's shops and wineries and restaurants and all kinds of stuff going on down there. A lot of history of the gold miners that used to be there.
Oh.
And in fact, there is the general manager, Ruthella Turner, was telling me a story about how underneath the stairs, you could still see horse prints from when the travelers used to come and they'd stay at the hotel and they would bring their horse up to their room because of horse thieves. So you could still see horse prints.
How'd they get their horse in their room?
I don't know, but you know what?
Who told you this?
The general manager, Ruthella Turner.
No offense, but you may want to check her.
She brought it to the room. They brought the horses to the room.
I'd be checking on her. Was this before or after she sampled the bar for you?
No, the bar manager, though, Pedro, he was awesome. He knows his stuff. So they have this copper room, which when you're talking underground, this is kind of underground. And it's almost like a speakeasy, actually. And you go down there and it just like almost takes you to a whole different time and place.
This is at the Sutter Creek Hotel.
At the Sutter Creek Hotel.
Oh, wow.
Underneath, yeah. And so this copper room they redid. It's only open Fridays and Saturdays right now. But they do tastings down there. They do pairings. They have a really good whiskey bourbon list.
Oh, okay.
And you know that.
That's your thing.
I think that's great.
That's your thing.
That's
now,
great.
I have to ask because I'm literal. Is it copper, the room?
But well, not like.
Or is that just a name?
It's just a name.
Okay.
It's just a name.
Okay, so it's not like copper walls.
No.
Oh, okay.
Earth tones, but there is stone from the original building back in the 1800s.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
What the age of the building? Yeah, 1800s?
Yeah, the stone. Yeah.
Wow.
So just really cool place and different rooms they have there that you could just experience different things. High-end whiskey, bourbons, tequilas. They have a whiskey burger, which Beth, who works...
Is that just a name or do they use it in the meat?
No, I think it's just the name.
Okay. See, I'm literal. I'm trying to tell you this. This is copper. Is it a copper room, whiskey burger? Do they put whiskey in the burger? I need to know these things.
They do put whiskey in the burger.
Oh! I'm sorry about it.
Maybe I had one before.
You can cook with alcohol. It diffuses in the heat. That's what I've been told. My boyfriend's a cook. I don't know anything about it. I don't
either. I just eat too. Same. Bring it out.
This is why we get along.
If it looks pretty, great. Smells good, even better.
Tastes good. All the better.
That's the best.
There you go.
But Beth, who works here in Turlock, she's the one who told me about it. Oh. And she had the whiskey burger and she gave it rave reviews. Okay. And that kind of put Hotel Sutter Restaurant on my radar.
Did you try it?
So I didn't, but I did try the sampler because they're really big on their smoked meats.
Oh.
That's a whole thing, like the Traeger grills and all that. Everybody's smoking meats.
We have a lot of Traeger meals out at our house. Yeah.
Smoking meat. So this is the 1858 sampler. And it comes with, you get a taste of the ribs and the tri-tip and, all their smoked meats. So it really...
Is there anything to offset that, or is it just a meat lover's platter?
It's a meat lover's platter. No, they do. They give some chili beans. They give some chili beans and some macaroni and cheese with bacon,
Oh,
yeah. So
it's a hearty place.
It's a hearty place. It's shareable. Yes.
Shareable.
It's very, you and pudding?
No, don't get me in trouble about the pudding. Just stop right there.
All right.
I'll bring up your bakery if you do that to me.
All the questions. Okay. So anyways, I would say if you get a chance, definitely take the trip down there because there's different things to see. You could get some good eats. It's comfort food. And I can tell you, just looking around that place, and just kind of a behind the scenes tip is that the Copper Room is a great place to pop in and have a drink. They have a townie night for locals on a Thursday night. They have banquet rooms where they do trivia. Like, there's like things to do weekdays, weekends.
Nice drive.
Nice drive.
Really?
Yeah, I would say take a trip.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check that out.
Different directions than Fresno.
Yeah. Speaking of taking a trip, I'm going to share with you one of the stories I really enjoyed this time. However, before I do so, I wanted to make a couple of shout outs to some other stories because we only have so much time. You can't go into all of them.
Right.
But, Marge Jackson in this upcoming issue that's out now, she also did a piece on Relay for Life for the greater Stanislaus County, which I was so happy to see make our magazine because her and I got involved with that years ago.
Right. I was going to say
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And actually last year I had the honor of being the guest speaker because of the, what I was going through with my own journey with breast cancer. So that was kind of a really, full circle moment for sure. And now to see it in our pages is really, really nice. And to bring it to our readers and let them know what's going on and when it's happening and how they can get involved and all those things. And
Marge has been also very passionate about the whole relay. Doesn't she do like a 24-hour and she DJs? And
yes, she's been the MC for quite some time now, starting in Oakdale. And then when they brought them together during COVID, she's continued on in that capacity. So yes, it's a real. She's got the knowledge for that piece for sure. And I really also, just flipping through real quickly before we came here to record, I also really enjoyed, Sabra Stafford always does something good in the issues. It seems like the fashion spread or something else. And this time around, I really enjoyed all the things that she had for the home. I love looking at that stuff, bathroom remodels and other people's houses. Yeah. I love when they do that in the magazine, don't you? It's so like nice. You get to be a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
Because they agreed.
Yes.
So I really do enjoy that.
It's approved.
Yeah, it's approved. They know what they signed up for. So those are some fun things that I just kind of previewed before we came on air. And but for me personally, one of the things I really enjoyed reading was it was an article by Don Yager. I'm going to have to learn everybody's names.
I know,
it's just so hard because we all work remotely and we don't really see each other. But he did a piece on making fantasy a reality, which is about a yacht that a couple, Dr. Steve and his wife, Karen Hansen, built, a 49-foot yacht. So, I mentioned in our last podcast, I'm not from the Valley. The lakes are not in my soul.
Yeah.
Salt water is in my soul. I grew up in the Bay and love sailing, love being out on the ocean, love being anywhere near the ocean. The smell of the ocean is like home to me.
Oh, yeah.
For my kids, it's the smell of chlorine, but that's a whole different thing, right? But I love the salt water is just my thing. And so this story was kind of fun to see. And they built this 49-foot yacht over 15 years.
Wow.
So speaking of homes and Sabra, right, this is the same kind of thing. So they started in 2007 and thought it would just take a couple of years. And 15 years later, last August, they finally got it on the water.
Wow, what a moment.
And are enjoying it. And
they
have it birthed in Alameda County. And, it was just really interesting to see and to read the story and hear him say, we didn't think it would take this long. Isn't that what people say when they build a home?
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of the same thing, right? And it's just completely beautiful. The pictures are beautiful. The story is really inspiring because it just goes to show if you really want something, you can make it happen. You just have to persevere and stick with it, right?
Patience, right?
Like I was so enthralled with the story because I thought it was going to say somewhere where you could sign up to take a ride.
No rides.
I guess
no
not.
Rides.
Maybe
you have
if
to
they
watch
hear
for the
this,
shore.
Maybe if they hear this, they'll invite me for a sleepover.
Me, us,
yeah,
V&T.
Us. Sure. I'll bring you. Yeah, V&T. We'll go together.
Let's go together.
Be a duet. Then we could even maybe we could do a podcast from the yacht.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be nice?
Hey, girls got a dream. I
Oh,
think that
yes.
would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So I really, really,
That's
you know,
cool.
that's something a little out of the norm for our publication. I
Yeah.
felt like, you know, and I liked how they showed how their commitment was, the people that they brought in to help them achieve the goal. They talk about living on the water, you know, when they're enjoying themselves. And at the very end of the story, the doctor says it has taken about 3 times longer to get it done than anticipated, but the experience itself has been a really positive thing.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah,
truly a labor
that's
of
cool.
love, right? Because
Yeah.
they didn't just throw their hands up and go, yeah. And they built
Too
it,
much,
you know,
yeah.
when you build a boat, I don't know if you know this, when you build a boat, you typically do it upside down because you've got to do it's just like, you know, from bottom up. So once it got to a certain size, they had to flip the boat. This
Oh.
49-foot yacht that's 2
Wow.
tons, they had to flip to finish the top construction. But you typically build this way. You can't see me, but you typically
My
build,
hands are going up.
you know, like I'm flying. You typically go from the bottom up. So it was
Okay.
very fascinating to see how they did that and
Yeah.
enlisted the help of some professionals to help them complete their goal.
Have you ever been yachting? Have you ever been on a yacht?
I have.
You
I
have?
Yes, yes,
Ooh,
yes. Well,
okay.
you know, growing up in the Bay Area, it's a little different life. Like my senior year in the Bay Area for our, you know, senior dinner or whatever, we went out on the Blue and Gold Fleet at night for our farewell dinner and dance and all that after graduation. That was
How
what our school
cool.
did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've had that experience and yachts as well.
I see those fancy yachts on Below Deck. You ever watch that? I'm like,
That show's
those,
entertaining.
yes, the crew, man.
Sometimes I feel I missed my minute by not being able to go on a couple of those shows. It would be fun.
That would be fun, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to be in all the turmoil, but just to have the experience, right?
Yeah, definitely. They go
Yeah.
all kinds of places.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the water, it's in boats and stuff. You know, there's a lot of that in the 209, right?
Yes.
You get lakes and rivers and rafting. People do rafting. That's some of the water stuff that's in our magazine this round. And so is an article that was from a new writer for the magazine, Sarah Lawson. She did an article on Don Pedro.
I saw that. She took some great photos too, by the way.
Yeah, really good.
Really,
photo.
really.
It looks like a lot of fun. Looking at it, you're like, that's fun.
I
right?
was jealous
Like,
when I saw the spread.
a
I
good
thought,
time.
how did I not get that assignment? What am I doing underground? Just
you
kidding.
were underground.
I was underground, and she's out on
And
a
she's
boat
over
having
here
a great
on
old
boat,
time.
jumping off things, houseboats, and
What happened to the
whatnot.
veterans getting the good stories? No, we all got good stories, but I did think, man, how did I miss out on that one? That was a great story. That was a great assignment.
It looks really like it was a lot of fun. So looking at it, now a lot of because of the drought, right? And we're seeing a lot of hot days, and the water levels are low. However, there's still a lot of fun to be had. And that's kind of what the story kind of, brings up is also the water temperature. I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this till I read it, but it stays at 70 degrees.
Yeah,
How nice,
I believe that. Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, especially when the water isn't a ton, it's easier to stay
keep
warm.
cool.
Yeah, when the water levels are low, the water
Okay.
stays warmer.
And, shout out to Baby Cakes, but there's fishing over there in Don Pedro. Do you say Pedro or Pedro? What do you say?
My family says Pedro, but,
Yeah.
I think it's a preference, like almond or almond.
I was just
That's
going
a
to say,
whole
what do
other
you say?
thing.
You say
Well,
almonds,
I am a
almonds. You're
Bay
just
girl,
not gonna
so
say-
I say almonds just like I say salmon, which is not the same. That's my brother-in-law's argument.
Yeah.
You say salmon,
Yeah.
so you should say almond. I said, no, I don't agree.
There is a debate on this,
It is a
right?
family-
It's funny.
it is a family discussion.
So there's fishing in Don Pedro.
Oh, you're showing
I'm
off.
trying to roll my R's
Roll your
here.
Rs.
So they can find rainbow trout,
Oh,
spotted bass, some largemouth bass, and brown trout, all in there. Huh? Who knew?
even in the warmer temperatures, the fish are still there, huh?
Still there.
Oh,
So, yeah,
I don't know a whole lot
swimming
about
up.
fishing. You know about fishing?
I know that I tell my husband all the time that I'll sit at the shore and read a magazine, the 209 perhaps, and watch while he, does it, but I don't ever get invited. I don't know.
I was told once that I talk too much to fish and I
Yeah.
scare them away. And I believed that.
I think he thinks I'll ask him questions.
The fish can't hear us underwater. I can't believe I believed that. I really did.
No. But you know what? He does. He likes fishing. And so I know that he's always interested in what's around to fish.
Has he ever fished there?
No. Actually, you know what? He's fished probably everywhere, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. He has his favorite spots, but even the Delta and different places. So
Now, is he catch and release or does he bring it home for consumption?
well,
Is it against the law to say one or the other?
Catch and release.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
catch and release.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know these things.
You know, I mean, I'm not, I don't know. Are you big seafood? I'm not a big seafood.
Yeah. Love ahi.
Oh, okay.
Love salmon.
Okay. Yeah.
Love oysters. Actually, just had oysters last night for dinner. Yeah.
I like fish sticks.
Yeah. There you go.
Put some ketchup.
That sounds about right.
Fish
This is why you
sticks.
recruit me on some of your assignments.
That's right. When we go hit the restaurants, you got to come for the fancy food.
Food
right?
ventures.
Yeah, food ventures. But yeah, so lots of stuff you can do out there. They do jet skiing. Just a really cool story. She puts a little history in there about the construction of the dam originally was in 1923. 1923.
Oh,
yeah. And so just really interesting story about Don Pedro and things, that you might not know about the lake. So
do you ever go out on the lake in the summer with family? Or
sometimes we do. And it's nice. One time we had a boat ride out into the Delta and they were doing 4th of July. And we got out there and we got to watch the fireworks over above us. Like you're right over it as they're, cracking off and all the colors and you're watching it on the water. That was a blast.
That's cool.
But leaving afterwards was kind of scary. Yeah, because
Still in the boat?
Because you're in the boat and everybody's leaving and the water's just like,
and the Delta can get pretty wild.
Oh man, there's driving fast and it's dark and so that was kind of crazy, but it was adventurous. It was fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a really good time.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So there are some good times happening in the 209.
Yes.
And we have them listed in this current issue.
Upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And one that caught my attention was Groveland.
Oh,
Groveland.
Yes. Groveland, right up the hill.
Right up the hill. Has a Summerfest.
Mm.
I can't believe that I didn't know that, but it sounds like a good time. And so it's on August 27th at Mary Leveroni Park on Highway 20, which goes...
What's with you and all these names?
I'm telling you. Can we talk to the producer about this? I'm going to have a talk, or else we need to just find some more plain Jane vanilla people so I don't have to do all this butchering of names.
Very colorful names. Okay.
Anyways, it's at the park on the
Summerfest.
27th from 1 to 6. Kids' activities, games, cooling stations, which are always needed in the summertime.
Very nice.
Local artists, vendors, food trucks, all the things. And it's free.
Wow.
Just got to take a little drive.
And Groveland's close to Yosemite.
Yes, it is.
And they also have a bar out there called Iron Horse Saloon that is like supposedly one of the oldest bars in California.
Okay, here we're going to go again. Just like last episode, is it Iron Horse or Iron Door?
Ooh. Google.
I'm going to have to Google because, last time I talked about the Miracle Mile.
You know what? I think it's Iron Door. I think it's Iron Door. Yeah, I think it's Iron Door Saloon. Good check. But how cool, right? A bar, the oldest bar in California.
Yeah.
Something that we might have to take a trip on a Hey Bartender.
Well, my guy's parents used to live in Groveland, so he has many stories of Iron Door. So that's how I know.
Iron Door Saloon.
That's how I know.
Okay.
I have to be honest.
You go in there and it looks like it's probably been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got that old charm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that would be a fun road trip. Hey, maybe we should do a Hey Bartender there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, let's talk about that
after. Bring some maybe bring both of
do a field trip.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
that might be a good time.
So then the Bathtub boat race. Did you hear this?
I think this sounds so much fun.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Bathtub boat race, 13th annual.
I want to know about it.
Held at Lewis Park in Stockton. Funny story.
Yeah, you're a
Lewis
Stockton
Park.
girl.
Yes, we used to kind of go over there and hang out a little bit because it was kind of on, by the water and real close to the Delta. It's a nice big park. And yeah, so Lewis Park, they're having this 13th annual Bathtub boat
Have you
race.
ever been there to the Bathtub boat race?
No, I've never even heard of this.
Really?
Yeah,
I wonder if it's a new thing.
I don't know. Well, 13th annual.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
I need to keep record of some of these things because when we're pitching stories, like some of these things are kind of interesting.
Right. Let's tell the whole
For a
story.
future issue. Yeah, I want to know who came up with an idea. Is it a bathtub or do they make it out of cardboard? I want to know these things.
Right. We have to know these things. So it says family friendly, free event held at the park, different race classes.
Oh.
I wonder what that is, like small bathtub, big bathtub.
That's legit.
I mean, who knows what that is?
It might be ages.
Team races, creative folks building boats big enough for two. Let's see. It's prizes. There'll be prizes awarded. There's registration for the race. Starts at 10 a.m. on race day, which is August 28th.
Okay.
So at the end of August.
Very cool.
It's very cool, huh?
Kind of makes me think of McCovey Cove. I know you're not a Giants fan, so forgive me. But,
Go
people
A's.
go out there on their boats during the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I've
wait
seen it on TV.
in the splash zone.
Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of because sometimes
That's
people
cool.
go in some pretty janky little boats that probably shouldn't be out there, but they do it anyways. It's a good time. So,
How cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool. So that's
yeah.
what that makes me think of. And, I know this because I'm from the city. That's my original zip code.
Yes.
And, speaking of that, my grandmother lived in the city, and she was a quilter
Oh, okay.
her whole life by hand. She never had a sewing machine. She quilted by hand. My grandmother.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's really what a dying art, I feel like.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
But
And
then, yeah.
so it's exciting to see people still do it, though.
Yes.
With all the evolution we've had in our society, all the technology, all the things, that there's still a grassroots group of people
That love the
quilt.
quilts. Yeah.
And there's even a quilt show coming
Oh.
up on
Oh.
September 16th. The Sierra Quilt Guild will be presenting their 2022 quilt show in the Motherlode. There's a lot of things happening up the hill,
Sonora.
aren't there?
Yes.
Can you believe it?
That's cool.
So it's going to be on the 16th at the fairgrounds from 10 to 5 p.m. on the 16th and the 17th, actually.
Oh, nice.
And they're going to have people from all over sharing their wares and crafting and, trading notes
creativity.
and creativity.
Yeah.
Now,
Do-
there is
do-
an admission fee,
Oh, okay. Okay.
$10. But that
Wow.
includes your parking.
Oh,
So,
it's reasonable.
Right?
Yeah, I think.
I
don't know.
think so. So,
Have you sew, quilt, make any clothes?
no, I'm just not that girl. It
No.
kind of goes with cooking. No,
Yeah.
I once was.
I'm with you there.
I once dated a person who had a hole in their sock and asked me if I would mend it.
Uh-huh.
And I said, mend it to what? And he said, no, you need to sew the hole. And I
Oh.
said, socks are $3. Why would I sew a hole when you can just buy new socks and use that as a dust rag? I don't understand this logic.
Yeah.
So no, not even.
That didn't last very long, huh?
No.
Yeah.
But you've got to
Yeah.
show your true colors. I believe that. So
Listen.
sewing is not my jam.
My mom, so she's a cook and she sews.
Oh,
Now,
she's a catch.
yes, yes. Now she's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of that, you know?
yeah.
And so, but she is like, if I have something that I need mended or, she does that. But she also was big on making aprons and clothes.
Oh,
she would make
really?
her own, and I thought, if I would have learned that, I could have been doing a whole other different thing.
I
right?
think I'm too practical for sewing because I look at the cost of the pattern and the sewing and the material and all
The
that. And I'm
time.
like, but we have Macy's. I don't know.
There's stores.
I don't know. There's
and then
stores.
there's online
and,
now.
and then you're supporting someone in their
Online.
job. It
Yeah.
goes full circle.
Yeah.
It feels selfish to sew.
Well, speaking of some old timer kind of stuff, well, I don't even know. I wouldn't even say old timer, but did you know there's a Fiddletown in the 209?
No.
Yes,
What's a
Fiddletown
Fiddletown?
is in the 209. In fact, Marge Jackson, she did a story in one of our first issues of the magazine on Fiddletown.
Oh.
Well, look, they're having a Fiddler's Jam September 17th
Isn't it
in
so fun
Fiddletown.
how much our area encompasses the past and brings it to the future
I
in the
love
209.
this.
I love it. I
so
do love
much
it.
to do. So
Yeah.
many different, like, unique things, right? So they have this historic music, street fair, bluegrass bands. I mean, jam sessions, food, wine, beer, just vendors. I mean, just sounds like a really cool, fun event.
It's like a fun vibe.
Yeah, and like a very fun vibe and a fiddly vibe. And then, like you also, you said,
did not say that right
like
now.
you say, there's some things that are in this area that, or even, beyond, but drivable, that we need to, write some stories about, I think.
I agree with you on that. I agree. And the other thing that we have available to our audience, our 209 audience, is if they're listening to the podcast, then hopefully they are already familiar with our Studio 209, which brings that to our community as well. And I say community because I feel like as a 209, we cross over everywhere. It is really one big community of lots of things.
Yes.
And the Studio 209 really has a good way of bringing that up front and personal, a little different than us, just talking about it. And there's always something exciting. There's some exciting things coming up on Studio 209, aren't there?
Right, yeah. So potentially, I think they have like a list of different things, but I think they were talking about the Garlic Festival that they might do, because the Garlic Festival used to be in Gilroy.
I remember.
And then they moved it down to San Joaquin County Fairgrounds.
Really?
Yeah, so that's going to be coming up.
Interesting.
And as well as Stockton Con. Stockton Con's coming up.
You do that? You go to that?
I went to, I've been, and it's really cool. Yeah. The people get into those things.
It's a
into
different
those
kind
things.
of crowd.
Yes. And then
No judgment.
No. But keep your eyes open for the Studio 209, because if you want to see what it's about, you're going to check it out there. And then the Catalina Wine Mixer. Now, I don't know if you're Step Brothers, if you've seen this show, but
Step Brothers is hilarious.
Yes.
So how does that? What does that have to do with wine?
Well, they cover, they're going to play the Step Brothers.
They're going to play it's at the State Theater.
At the State Theater, yeah.
Oh, they do fun stuff there.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on.
Oh, I want to find out when that's happening. I might have to check that out.
So we're going to have another one, huh?
I think we're going to try and do this every month. Well, we are. We're not going to try. We're doing it. We're doing it every month.
Okay.
And so next month, we're going to come back and talk about the best of the winners.
Oh, yes. Lots of winners.
We've talked about
area.
the issue, but when everyone sees this issue and sees the back pages with all the lists and lists and lists of all the greatness in our 209 area, there's just not enough time for us to talk about both at the same time. So next podcast, we're going to be talking about that.
Fantastic.
I'm excited to share it. People get so excited when they win. They share it on their social media. My phone blows up before the winners are announced from people I know that have been in the running. Do you know if I won yet? I just want to know so I can put it on my banner. Do you know? So I can just share it with my friends. So I'm really excited to be able to share with our listeners who some of those people are and what they have to offer.
Subscribe to the 209 podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.
We really need that to happen.
Yes, that'd be nice, right? Get some excitement flowing here and get people informed about the 209. There's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at 209 Magazine. And also you can find the podcast alongside Studio 209 at 209magazine.com, because our 209magazine.com also is on the website that you can check that out.
We're hitting this thing running. We're going to keep it going. Next month, we're going to share a little bit more, reflect a little bit, talk a little bit future.
We will be serving up the V&T. So come on.
Cheers.
Let's go. Cheers.